football play here. Powered by Pepsi. WGSX Lynn Haven, Panama City. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
There's no need to fear.
The Underdogs are here. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
What time is it?
Live from the Slim Chicken Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome in. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. We've got drumming Boston Tim in the building. Old school, as always, Caveman Rick joining us for another edition of Caveman on the Cameras. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. We're in the Slim Chicken Studio, and thank you guys for listening to the live edition of the Underdogs today. Give us a call or text on the Rib Crib hotline, 850-215-6290. We're also on the radio, 104.3. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're on YouTube, and with our great TV partner in the Pensacola area, blabtv.com. Make sure to like and share the Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we're also on Twitch, old school, at ESPN Northwest Florida. You got to get the new app. Man, you can win a ESPN t-shirt just by clicking on the app. Download that app in the Apple Store or in the Google Play Store. We're playing trivia today. Merchant Management Group. Man, if you're a business owner, you got to listen to this. How much did you pay in credit card processing fees this last season? If you want to eliminate those fees, give our friends at Merchant Management Group a call. 850-747-0664. They're located right here in downtown Panama City, and I'm telling you, they can eliminate your credit processing fees. The question for today is, what branch did Ted Williams serve in? What branch of the military did Ted Williams serve in? Give us a call, 850-215-6290, and join us today as we celebrate Veterans Day. What a day to be alive. And without those guys, we would not have the freedom to do what it is we do today. And Odell Beckham Jr. would not have the freedom to choose a team that was outside of his top three yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about, who was it? The Chiefs, the Packers, and the Saints. Outside shot of the New England Patriots. And then the Rams got into the mix, and they landed him. There was a little questions of, is it true? Is it not? Well, the Rams have put it up on their website now. So it's about as official as it can get. Let's hope that OBJ does not turn this team into a nightmare. What do you guys think, though, about the Rams getting Odell Beckham Jr.? How dangerous does that make their wide receiving core now with Robert Woods, Odell Beckham Jr., and the guy who's been on fire all year long in Cooper Kupp?
You know, the interesting part will be, who's willing to give up the ball? I mean, Cooper Kupp's gotten so many catches this year. Is he going to be willing to give up a few catches? Because, Odell's going to be looking for a target or two every game or more. So it'll be interesting to see how they are able to incorporate him. It just seems like the rich get richer.
I mean, they've made the two big splash signings or trades. They brought Von Miller in at the trade deadline. Now they get Odell Beckham Jr. on a one-year deal, essentially a
rent.
9-game deal here. We'll see how it works out. Maybe there could be the puppy love stage for the Rams, where they like each other for a little bit. It's just hard to see him not. What I really want to get into is, how do you guys think Matt Stafford feels about this, adding a diva into the wide receivers room, or does he feel like they're adding an incredible wide receiver to the group? What do you think, Boston Sam?
He's going to be open-minded on it. You can't not have somebody with the talent that OBJ has coming over to your roster and not be open-minded. Absolutely, over a certain amount of time, he could certainly change those thoughts. But I think he definitely has to be open-minded up front, because he's going to create a lot of opportunities for himself. You know what I'm saying? Not just the wide receivers, but for himself. Mm-hmm. And when you have that, it's going to be huge, because he's already really, really playing well over there. And I think it's going to not only help him out, but it could lead him towards the possibilities of an MVP candidacy.
It could also lead to videos being posted on Instagram of Odell Beckham Jr. streaking down the field. But instead, Matt Stafford wanted to check down to Cooper Kupp. So then you've got big problems in the locker room. I don't know if it'll happen like that. You do got to say that there is talent being added to the roster. There's no doubt about it that he has talent. It's just basically for us, do we recognize Odell Beckham Jr. off of the talent? Is it off of the catch, or is it off of how often he is in the media, be it good or bad publicity?
Well, I don't think there's any questioning of his talent. It's always been what comes with him.
Yeah.
It's a lot like AB. There was so much talk about his ability, but there was always so much fireworks and so much chaos and drama that followed him around, until he became Tom's roommate. The whole thing will be if Odell can humble himself enough to just be a good teammate, which he appeared to be in Cleveland. He appeared to do all the right things until he just got fed up with, in his opinion, not getting targeted enough. And then his dad and everybody else got involved. So, hopefully he has the same attitude in L.A. that he had in Cleveland for the first year. And then, and he can help Matt Stafford get a ring.
I did find it funny that Justin Jefferson reached out to him and said, whatever you do, don't go to the Green Bay Packers. Because that's what it essentially, from what I've read, from what I've gathered, is it was narrowing down to those two teams in the Rams and in the Packers. Do you guys feel like he made the right choice going with the Rams?
I think the opportunity for success is going to be more with the Rams. I think the opportunity for him to get the ball more would have been with the Packers. And I think that he is more interested in going for a ring. He was stating that specifically when this all took its course last week. So I think he made the choice that is going to be best for him in that particular direction that he's going for. If he wanted to get that ring, that's where he needed to go.
Shout out to Boston Sam today with the American flag on the Boston cap and then the USA t-shirt, looking spiffy today, representing Veterans Day. And I put a post up yesterday on Facebook saying, veterans who were athletes, where y'all at? I was going to try to line a bunch of veterans up, but a lot of the guys didn't have time because they're working and stuff. So I just want to kind of shout out some of these guys and the service that they've done for us. Tim Reed, thank you for your service. Coach Olds, Deshaun Olds. What a guy. He played high school football and basketball. Happy Veterans Day to you. Sam Peebles, who will join us today at 4:30, also spent time in the military and I believe is still in the reserves. So thank you for your service. Ryan Burridge, Cody Puckett. Cody Puckett, if you don't know Cody Puckett, he's a very jokester of a guy. He said he was varsity chess team captain. That's a falsification, but I just felt like a little giggle there was worth it. How about Kyle Aaron Wright? Thank you for your service. Absolutely. Marcus Wisner, thank you for your service. Gator Jamie, William Walker, thank you for your service. And he answered back on my post saying, how about veterans who are athletes because of the marathons and the mud runs that he gets into? That dude's a stud. Joshua Joseph, a lot of people might know his dad, Paul Joseph. He served in the military. We appreciate you. Coach Manley, can't forget about Coach Manley. Thank you for your service. And Chuck Sowers. And I'm sure that my papa also served in the military. If you guys have any shout outs, hey, perfect time for it.
Yeah, I'll give my dad he's off to heaven, but I'll give him, he served in the Air Force for 4 years and very proud of that.
Absolutely. I'll do just a couple quick ones myself. Also, I agree. Of course, thank you to anybody who is a veteran and especially their family members who went through all of the same things they went through on stateside. So thank you to all of you. Of course, my grandfather and uncle who both of my uncles who served, both of my aunts who served. I have cousins, Michelle, Mike, and a number of others. Thank you guys all very much for your numerous tours and coming back strong and safe. We appreciate you and all the people that stood by you. So thank all of you guys.
You got anybody, Caveman Rick?
Yeah, my dad, my grandfather, actually my step-great-grandfather, my step-grandfather, lots of family members. My sister, my brother-in-law currently, is in. So anybody in the past that served, thank you for your guys' service. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. New nickname for Caveman Rick. How about Cameraman Rick? Yeah. Sounds pretty good, right?
Captain Caveman.
I'm liking it.
Captain Caveman.
He's got the perfect beard for it and everything.
No
just
doubt.
About touches the ground.
No doubt.
I actually used to have an intro with the little cartoon beginning to that show when I first started.
Oh, yeah.
About two and a half years ago, I think it's about the time.
Oh, my
old
goodness.
School beat up Phillies bat. It'll look like a caveman club.
Oh, my. That would be
Perfect.
hilarious. So the Panthers signed Cam Newton. This one's a little bit of a surprise to me because if you remember, the Panthers came out especially. Well, no, it was more of Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Panthers bringing back Cam Newton, old school. What was going on in your mind when you first saw this notification pop up?
Well, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is cool, man. They're bringing Cam back. Then they're going to let him retire, as a Panther, where he started his NFL career, his opportunity for him to come back and, and retire as a Panther. I thought that's really super. And then all of a sudden, no, they're bringing him back to play.
Oh, yeah.
So, and maybe he's, we saw him last year again up in with the Patriots, and he had moments where he looked like the old Cam, and then he had moments where he looked
like the
old Cam. So it'll be interesting to see, if bringing him back to the familiar haunts, there he was in Carolina, if it'll reinvigorate him a little bit and give him an opportunity to maybe get a gig next year somewhere.
Right, and I think the fresh legs, and we know, of course, that he stayed in great shape. He's always been in great shape, regardless of the statistics that he's provided on the field. So we know he's in great shape, and we know, most importantly, that the executives and the coaches wanted somebody that's comfortable and familiar already, and that helps this late in the season. You know what I mean? We're talking about going into week 10 right now, more than halfway through the season. You really want to be comfortable. And so having him come in, I think it'll be absolutely a big step already for them in the direction that they want to go. I am, however, a little surprised with the amount of money that he got, considering it's only half a season.
That's where I wanted to go.
More for half a season than he got last year for a full season. So it's a little confusing to me, but it is what it is. They're going to pay what they want to pay, and it's up to them. That has nothing to do with me. But hopefully, like Old School says, he does something on the field that provides him an ability to come back next year and continue to play and provide for Carolina and hopefully retire there where he started and hopefully can finish.
The only thing that's interesting is it's a different coaching staff, different offensive philosophy. So it's not like he's going back to run the same offense that he did when he was there. So there will be a little bit of a learning curve there for him. But sometimes going home is a good thing, and maybe this will be really good for Cam. I hope it is, and I hope that he feels invigorated and ready to come back. And he went to the Patriots with such a great attitude, kept that great attitude the entire time.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
And I hopefully that same attitude will carry him forward there in Carolina, and I hope he beats the hell out of the Falcons a few times because that's just the way I feel.
Let's go Falcons, man. I want y'all to win just to spite Old School.
I always want Matty Ice to win if they're not playing the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, Boston College boy.
That's right.
No doubt about it. How about UConn hiring former UCLA coach Jim Mora to take over their football program? Old School, any thoughts on this?
Good for him. He needed a job. It's maybe not the trajectory you want in a career. Maybe it's a reverse trajectory because typically, you want to start at a small school and work your way up to with the goal of coaching in the NFL. Well, his is kind of flipped around the other way.
Right.
He starts in the NFL, flames out in Atlanta, goes down, coaches in the collegiate ranks at UCLA, kind of flames out there, ends up as an analyst for ESPN, and now he's coaching at UConn. So maybe not the trajectory that he saw his career going in, but the man's working. He's got a job, so good for him.
It's a 5-year deal worth $1.5 million in the first season. That's a tough program to win at, though.
This is a hard gig for him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's going to be a difficult job, but the ceiling, is low.
Right.
So there's only one way to go, and that's up. So, it's an opportunity for him to, instead of going to, Coach Saban's resurrection camp up there in Tuscaloosa, he decided to go this direction, and it's an opportunity for him to kind of resurrect his career. If he goes there and helps get that program going back again, it could lead to other opportunities for him in the future. He's still a young man, overall.
Comparatively speaking,
to me,
he's a really young man.
Yes, he is.
It's a step down for possibly in some perspective for him, but it's a good step up for UConn football.
Oh, it's a great thing for UConn.
And for a school that's renowned for basketball, both men's and women's, they haven't necessarily won recently a championship for the men's. I think 13 or 14, 15, somewhere around then. So it's good to get the attention back on them. And obviously, like you said, it's going to be a tough road for him, but it's an easy road for him to get some simple wins and get a good name for himself back in there, and maybe even shine. He could surprise people.
And the interesting part is his typical modus operandi is when he comes in, there's kind of an instant spark, and then he kind of wears thin on people. So hopefully we see that same thing here, where there's that instant spark. But then if that gets the flames going there, maybe he can actually build something there at UConn.
Speaking of UConn football, shout out Chad Atwell. I know you're not listening, but he was our guard in high school football, played at UConn back in 03 and through college. So he was a great player, big boy. He was 6'8", 290 pounds when he was a freshman. So
that's a big boy.
Big boy.
Well, 20 points from your guy last night, guys. Luka Doncic in a losing effort to the Chicago Bulls. Not necessarily, overrated to you guys, but to me, still overrated. Still riding that wave as of today.
Yeah, Chicago, the number 4, top 5 defense in all of basketball right now.
Fun to watch.
They're
really fun to watch.
And they're very good at isolating. So when you play a team where you have to isolate against an individual, they're going to be successful. And they did a really good job keeping him to 67% of his typical amount of points scored. So that's huge. And David called it that, he hasn't been playing exceptional and that he doesn't love him, but he certainly was wrong about the playoff portion of it.
There was no doubt about it. You threw the facts right back in my face.
And I also talked about, yesterday how Chicago, or was Max here yesterday or the day before? Excuse me, the day before.
Yeah.
Max was here, and I was discussing how Chicago is number 2 in the league against the spread. So they've been covering the spread in basketball. They're having some great games, a lot of good wins. They're looking good this year. I like Chicago.
They're fun to watch, man. And Zach LaVine getting a little bit more healthy with his thumb. They did have to take Vujicic and put him on in the COVID protocol, so they'll lose him for what I don't know what exactly it is in the NBA at this point, but 10 days or so,
give or take.
Yeah, early in the season, better time to lose him now than down the stretch. Yeah.
We were doing overrated, underrated yesterday. I wanted to do Andrew Wiggins, and we didn't get to talk about him. And he ended up having a great night last night. It would have been nice to have talked about him before that.
Well, let's
the
do
Warriors
it right now, though.
Fantastic, Well, it's just that he comes out, top of the draft. Mm-hmm. He's expected to take over a team, and he just never really fulfilled the number 1 spot as well as he was expected to. And when he came over to the Warriors, he dropped back to a second and third role. And over the last 2 years, with Clay being sick, or injured rather, he's had the opportunity to fill in the second role, and he has filled in very well in the number 2 spot. And I think he's been a very underrated player who is now shooting up there to be one of the greats, I think, for the number 2 spot in the league.
With Steph not being your prototypical point guard, meaning he can shoot it out the gym, not saying that he can't pass or anything, but that's just not his bread and butter, is spreading the love around. I still think he makes players a lot better. Is that just because he's that good, or is there another special niche about Steph Curry?
I think because he's so good, he commands. He commands defenses and he commands the attention. So it certainly is always going to make other players better because they're going to have more opportunity. They're going to be more wide open. When you can shoot from 46 feet at 33%, you can't be guarding somebody, your defensive player can't be at 28 feet at the three-point line. Mm-hmm. You have to be out there following him no matter where he is, and that opens up all the lanes. And you've seen it in college basketball a lot. There's teams that just run lanes, and that's all you have to do is run lanes and create a little bit of space, and you can get easy and quick points. And you see that in the second and third players for Golden State because of the command that he has on the defenses.
No doubt about it. We want to remind you guys about our partnership with Panama City Toyota, feeding families for the holidays. If you know a family who had a rough year and might miss out on a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, or it could be your family, nominate them or yourself to win a free Thanksgiving dinner from Rib Crib in Callaway. That's going to include a smoked ham and turkey. You can submit your nominations to ESPN Panama City at Gmail or text the story to 850-215-6290, and all families who are nominated are invited to join us for a free delicious Thanksgiving meal at Quorum's Steak and Eggs in Callaway. That's if you apply to for the nomination, then you can go down to Quorum's and have a great Thanksgiving dinner. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. When we get back, dive into some local and find out a big overtime winner in the NBA last night.
My forecast overnight, spotty showers, partly to mostly cloudy, 55 to 62, light southwest winds becoming north about 10 miles per hour. Chance of a few showers Friday and Friday night. Partly sunny Friday, partly cloudy Friday night. The high Friday near 75, it'll be in the 50s Friday night. Sunny in the 60s over the weekend. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, best little lumber yard in Panama City and Youngstown. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for college football.
It's a critical SEC West showdown in Oxford, Mississippi, when the 16th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels welcome 13th-ranked Texas A&M.
For the end zone! Caught! Touchdown!
The Aggies are riding a 4-game winning streak, while Ole Miss is undefeated at home this season. 13th-ranked Texas A&M, number 16 Ole Miss.
Listen in Saturday night at 5:30 with kickoff at 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Quorum's Steak and Egg, home of the world-famous Heavenly Hash, has been family-owned and operated since 1986. Open daily 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Quorum's Steak and Egg prides itself in offering fresh, never-frozen favorites at family-friendly prices. Come in and check out our daily lunch and dinner specials. Quorum's Steak and Egg at 804 South Tyndall Parkway, where you never leave hungry. Also available on DoorDash and Grubhub.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey, cheesy, crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously. But as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
We are live and local. From Camp Helen State Park to the historic Martin Theater.
Definitely time to let our hair down and have some fun.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Slim Chicken Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back in. You're in the Slim Chicken Studio. We're on the afternoon. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. My guys in here, Boston Tim, Old School, Caveman Rick, are jamming out to music that wasn't even there anymore, man. I should have left it rolling a little bit longer for you guys, huh?
That is some good stuff. I don't care how old you are. That is good stuff.
No doubt. Hope you guys enjoyed Tiger Talk last night. Brad Law was not lying about that interview with Coach Bruce Pearl after their first game against Morehead State. Did a great job there. You've got the Ravens and the Dolphins, right? Well, it'll be 7 o'clock. The pregame will start 7:20 for the first kick. But the Ravens and the Dolphins, Lamar Jackson, the return to his hometown of South Florida. So that should be an interesting game to watch. Here in our area, Bay County, we've had quite a bit of students signing on to play at the next level. 4 of them being from Mosley. 2 of those 4 from the volleyball team. Liberty McLean signed to play for the University of West Florida, and Haley Howman is headed to Spring Hill College in Mobile. Soccer player Lexi Clark is continuing her career at the University of North Georgia, and baseball player Tyler Wave staying right here in Northwest Florida, Panama City, playing for the Gulf Coast Gulf Coast Commodores. I was just going to say the Doors and ended up saying way too much there. Arnold.
Golf course.
There you go.
Tomorrow morning if you want to.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Still hit it.
It's happening.
We had 5 student athletes signed to the next level from Arnold. 3 of them soccer players, some Lady Marlin soccer players, and they made some school history as it was the first time that they have had that many from the same team signed to the Division I level. Olivia Labdui is heading to play for the top-ranked women's soccer team in the country, FSU, the Florida State Seminoles. Great job there. Lexi Griffin headed to Southern Miss, and Lena Dykes is headed to Mercer. So way to go, ladies. Those are some big-time universities, but at the end of the day, if you're furthering your education while still playing in any type of athletics, great job. Super proud of you. Softball player Sage Mickey, 2-time All-State shortstop. She's going to be on the diamond for the University of West Georgia after she graduates. And baseball player Christian Corona. I wonder how he dealt with that last name for the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Corona, that's a decent last name, man, especially with the double C there. That's good stuff. He led the team in home runs last season. He's headed to play for one of the top NAIA programs in the country in Freed Hardeman. So way to go.
My father is an alumni of Freed Hardeman University.
Well, how about that, old
That's
school?
awesome. Good for him.
Good for him. We were talking a little bit about, well, we know that the Heat have been a fantastic team this year, especially when playing at the house. But last night, they were on the road taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. And, you know, LeBron James has been out as well dealing with an abdominal strain that doesn't seem to be too severe from what we've heard from reports. But the Lakers got it done last night. What did you see from that game, Boston, Sam?
Well, you know, what I have seen is, you know, there was a lot of controversy a couple weeks ago between players on the team, Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis. And whenever there's friction in a team, especially one that's newly revamped as much as one that the Lakers is, you know, that you're always going to worry about the season after that. But I see a lot of camaraderie and a lot of fun. The guys were having fun last night. You know, you see LeBron coming off the bench, you know, wearing his suit, if that's what you want to call that get up. And he's smiling and he's hugging his guys and he's jumping up there and he's excited. And that's what you want to see. You want to see camaraderie. And, you know, they fought back. And I think they were fortunate. I think Miami handed them the game, not only in regulation with Tyler Hero missing a 3-pointer there, but missing 2 more in overtime, let alone going 6 for 7 to start the overtime and allowing Malik Monk to score 5 consecutive points. So for me, I think they played well. It was an exciting game, and I'm really excited about seeing both teams in the future. It's been good. You know, they're doing well without LeBron, and that's tough. That's what you brought Russell Westbrook in for. Now, he was the typical Russell Westbrook last night. We saw nearly a quadruple double with 8 turnovers again last night, which has been his biggest issue his entire career outside of not wanting to pass the ball. And he also nearly fouled out. So what do you do if you foul out in the fourth quarter and aren't able to participate in overtime? So he really needs to dial back the turnovers and the fouls. Other than that, he provided a great game for us, or for the Lakers, rather. And it was good to see the overtime win.
Could be worse. You could be Dwight Howard and foul out with 0 points. So
right.
in 11 minutes.
Left in regulation, I believe.
He only played 11 minutes in the game, and you fouled out.
But you know that's
what he's there for. That's his role.
Enforcer nowadays. You know, obviously he doesn't want to be enforced upon and be put on the free throw line. So he's doing his job.
And you were talking about the Golden State Warriors and specifically Andrew Wiggins. They're at 10-1 so far to this point in the season. But on the flip side of that, Minnesota Timberwolves struggling with a record of 3-7, but the number 1 pick from last year, I believe, in Anthony Edwards last night with 48 points, man. 48 points. The Ant-Man.
He's exciting, isn't he?
He really is, though, and he looks like he should be a football player. What do the Timberwolves need to do? Do they need to put more pieces around him? Are they waiting on some injuries? What's going on when you see a guy having explosions like these, but the record's not really following it?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of both. You know, obviously they've got Karl Anthony Towns over there, Catman, as he's known, but he's been sick for a while, so we need to get him back. And I think that they need a third person over there. They're just not, they're not working well together with just 2 power players and a couple of extra guys. You really need a full team over there, and they just don't have that right now. So I think it's a combination of both. I think Anthony Edwards is exciting, and he is the future up there, though, and I really can't wait to see what the future has to lie. I just hope that they put a little bit of money into it.
Wright State Chris says when talking about Anthony Edwards, he was going to be a football player until he realized that he could dunk. Barrett Townsend says, want to give a special shout out to the ESPN crew for showing up at Christy Kirkland's memorial today. Means a lot. Love you guys. We love you as well, Barrett. That was a beautiful service, and Matt Glover did a heck of a job running that ceremony, and yeah, beautiful family, man. That's what I really took away from that whole situation.
And it was our honor to be there. I mean, it really was. Christy was an amazing woman. Done so many things, so actively involved in the community. So it was an honor to go there and just pay our respects. We thought highly of her, and we think highly of her family. So it was our honor to be there.
Absolutely. Her smile, especially her positivity and her infectious desire to want to build our community and just be there for the person to her left and right on a daily basis. You know, she was very similar to myself in that she only slept like 3 or 4 hours a day because she was just on the go trying to provide more for others. And I really love that about her, and it will certainly be missed.
Yeah, it was really beautiful memorial service this afternoon. We got Sam Peebles on deck. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be right back with Sambo.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
The bigger story here is the Chiefs' offense. It is not bailing them out, and I can't believe it. I don't know why. They should have improved that offensive line. I think it is the play calling and the decision making, and I think a lot of it is the quarterback. And I can't believe it because I was ready to crown Patrick Mahomes the best quarterback I'd ever seen. And right now, he is playing below average NFL football.
Weekday afternoons from 2 till 4. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you ready for some football? So are the folks at That Boot Store. They have the latest in Western outfits, along with brand names like Wolverine, Timberland Pro, and many others, including Ariat and Old Western for kids. That Boot Store loves the Noles, the Gators, the Tigers, the Bulldogs, and Joe's favorite, Roll Tide. That Boot Store, your team's favorite Western shop, next to Billboard Key on 15th Street. Open Tuesday to Thursday, 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 9 to 5:30. Remember what Joe always said, keep Jesus in your heart every day.
Kings by Blood Cleaners is your go-to for the cleaning of your office, home, or condo. Ready to remodel? Let Kings by Blood Cleaners do the demo work for you. Clean up or clean out commercial, foreclosure of homes, apartment complexes, and commercial buildings. Contact Kings by Blood Cleaners for a local, no-obligation free estimate. Kings by Blood Cleaners offers 7 days a week service so that it's convenient for you. They do things the way your grandmammy used to do it. Call Kings by Blood Cleaners, 850-704-8470.
Don't go through the fall months with joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids. QC Kinetics use natural biological therapies that restore, repair, damaged tissues in your knees, shoulders, hip, and back. Patients are raving about the results. You don't have to live with chronic pain. And don't think surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. Hey, you've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what it's all about. Fall is a time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative therapies are available here. And in the office, consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics, 850-270-3939. Non-surgical joint pain relief. 850-270-3939.
The mission?
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Save the panhandle from boring cookie-cutter radio. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live in the Slim Chicken studio.
The tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I love ESPN. Shout out Big Mike. What a day we've got going. Let's get Sam Peebles on the line, host and creator of the Braves Dugout podcast, also a contributing writer for Tomahawk Take and Sports Talk ATL. Sam, my man, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm getting excited about this hot stove heating up.
I love it, man. So where are the Braves at right now with Freddie Freeman?
Well, since they didn't hammer it out, before the season ended, which we didn't expect it to once the season got rolling. But the thing is people are saying stuff like, oh, man, it would be a great day if, at the parade they say they sign him, or it'd be a great day if whatever they sign him. Here's the thing. The market has to settle on him. There isn't a player that fits Freddie Freeman's profile come along very often. And so they've kind of got to figure out his market. And really the only true comp is someone like Paul Goldschmidt, which isn't even an exact comp, right? Especially with inflation and the COVID season hitting and all that. So really what's probably happening right now is Freddie's agent is fielding calls and trying to figure out a market. And the Braves, it would be smart for the Braves to wait for that to happen too, because they want to figure out what Freddie's market is before they either lowball him or overpay, because it's a delicate thing. They don't want to lowball him so that he gets his agent and himself get upset and then just go away and look somewhere else. They also don't want to overpay what the market is demanding, because then it'll put him in a bind. So really, I would not expect him to sign anytime soon, and that's a good thing. We want Freddie Freeman to get the contract that he deserves, but we also want Freddie Freeman to get a contract that won't hurt the Braves in the future.
So we really want baseball to stick around. It's been since 1995 that we've had a work stoppage or a strike. How far are the MLB and the MLBPA apart on a CBA, or will there be any type of stoppage in your opinion?
Well, MLBPA, and I get it. I'm a player first type guy, but the MLBPA is the strongest players association in major sports. They hardly ever budge, and there's certain things that they want, and there's a lot of things they want. They want the universal DH. They want more pay for minor leaguers. They want a bunch of different things for good reason. And I just, as much as they don't budge and the way that they went at each other's throats during the COVID season, it's possible that there won't be a work stoppage, but I do not have a lot of faith that it's not going to happen. I would not be surprised if there was some type of stoppage. It's not like it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. I'd say if I was a betting man, which I am sometimes, but if I was to bet on it, I would say there's probably about a 60 to 70% chance we're going to see at least a short stoppage.
Oh, man. Don't be hitting Boston Tim with those type of percentages, because then he turns into a betting man.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know. I think I earned him a lot of money with the prediction on the Braves.
I owe you dinner, sir.
Oh, we were talking about that just the other day. So if there was a stoppage, or if we don't come to any sort of agreement before then, how would that affect free agent signings?
I would say it would mostly affect the one-year type deals. Guys like Carlos Correa, who's going to sign a 10-year contract, that's not really going to affect him. I mean, guys are going to want – there's going to be – all 30 teams would love to have a guy like Carlos Correa. He doesn't come along, or Corey Seager, someone like that. It's really not going to affect like those super big-name guys that are going to be on super long contracts. But guys like Justin Verlander, who might be taking a 1 or 2 year deal, it's really going to affect the type of money they're able to pull in, because people aren't going to want to like drop $20 million, $30 million on a 1 year contract if they got to deal with, if there's a work stoppage. They might be prorated like it was in the COVID season, but that isn't hammered out either. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. So I would say it's mostly the 1 year contract guys that it would affect the most. Maybe guys that are truly going to be a DH, only like Jorge Soler. I don't expect him to sign anytime soon, because probably going to wait for the CBA, because if they do pass a universal DH, his market just went through the roof, whereas, yeah, he did play for the Braves, but he truly is profiled as a DH, and if it's only the American League going after him, that's half the teams that fit his market. So if there's a work stoppage and they haven't hammered out the universal DH, it's really going to affect DH-style players, people like Nelson Cruz, guys like that.
Well, Sam, I agree with you. In fact, I think your percentage is a little low as to the percentages that we will have a work stoppage. My question for you is, we saw how bitter it got during the COVID situation and the last time they were negotiating, and the name calling, all the different things. What has to happen is there a way for some of the leaders in the Players Association to make steps to try to improve the relationship, or on the owner side is there anything that both sides can do, or are they just so firmly entrenched that it's almost inevitable?
It's in today's society of, polar opposites being the norm now. I don't really think the only thing that would fix it maybe is to see that, wow, a work stoppage really did happen. This really did happen, and it'll open some eyes. Because if you really think about it, what leverage, the Players Association has all the leverage right now. If they don't play, then teams aren't going to be bringing in revenue. They're not going to be bringing in stuff and making money. So the only way it's going to fix it is there's got to be some way to bring the leverage somewhere in the middle, and it's not that way right now. And a work stoppage might be what needs to happen if they want to get more even and have true negotiations.
But I just wonder, do either side, maybe we need to send them videotapes of what it was like back when this happened the last time, and the anger of which the fans approached both sides. There was neither side won in that case, because the anger that the fans had for both sides, it was intense, and it took many years. In fact, it took
steroids.
It took steroids,
Yeah,
and
that's exactly what it took
to bring them back. So at least the fans, and I don't see how they can go through this again, given the fact that the NFL is exploding, NBA is getting more popular, and if they let this thing go too long, if it gets too ugly, it could put baseball back to a point that it never recovers.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. Fortunately, this postseason was the most watched postseason of all time. So hopefully, if it does happen, it doesn't go that far. But what if it's just this giant conspiracy of Rawlings, people that make the baseball? They doctored the baseball. And so if they can get a work stoppage, then now the MLB is going to allow them to continue to use doctored baseballs, and they're going to make a ton of money. They're going to get hoots with the MLB. What do you think about that?
I like the way he put that.
I think you need to take
what do you think about that?
You need to take the tin foil off the hat. That's the kind of thing that I do, is come up with crazy ideas like that.
Hey, but it gets you a lot of clicks on social media, so hey.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Well, Sam, again, thank you so much for joining us, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. On a more positive and current note, yesterday we had 6 guys nominated for the All-MLB team, which we know is voted on by fans, media members, broadcasters, officials, and, of course, former players. Of the 6 guys, who do you think, in your opinion, is going to definitively make the team? And what first or second team players do you think we'll have?
Ooh, I would say, man, that's a good one. Unfortunately, for almost all the Braves, all of them are like top tier, but none of them really stick out as like the guy. Like if Ronald Acuna was there and he wasn't injured, that would have been a no-brainer. But I can't say definitively that there's any of them that I would say, oh yeah, that's the one. I mean, if you just look at the finalists on all the awards so far, maybe there's really no definitive yes for me on them, unfortunately. Which, fortunately, World Series is what matters, and human-voted on awards do not. So, and take solace in that, but I can't definitively pick any of them to be 100%. I would not bet on any of them winning.
For sure, I actually agree with you on that one. But you break up Acuna, what are the possibilities, in your opinion, of him? He's obviously a little bit ahead of schedule, returning for opening day. And if he does or doesn't, what do you think the outfield looks like in his opinion?
Ooh, man. So I do think that the Braves, he probably won't start the season. They probably want to ease him in spring training and stuff and just see what he does. So you'll probably see him come back around May, if I had to guess. But I have a fairly solid opinion that I think the Braves are going to make a big splash in either the trade market to try to bring in someone in center field like Brian Reynolds or Cedric Mullins, someone like that. Or if not, they might go for someone like Michael Conforto, formerly of the Braves. Had a down year this year. He fits AA's profile perfectly, the type of guy that wants to take a one-year deal that's going to bet on himself. And before last year, he was top 18 in the league when it came to runs created plus. I think it'd be a solid addition that wouldn't cost a lot of money, and the Braves wouldn't have to mortgage anything other than a one-year deal. So we're probably looking at someone like, if they don't sign Eddie Rosario or Soler, I think we're looking at a team at, I don't know, Ronald Acuna, and then the other two are honestly wild cards at this point because we don't know if Adam Duvall is going to come back because his arbitration cost is valued or projected around $9 to $10 million plus the $3 million buyout. The Braves are going to cut him loose. They're not going to get him in arbitration. They might try to re-sign him, but it's not guaranteed. So we're probably looking at something like Acuna, and then a new center fielder that I couldn't tell you, and then maybe whoever, either Eddie Rosario or a free agent signing like Mark Canha or Michael Conforto. That's really the areas I think the Braves will focus on as the outfield. Maybe another starting pitcher as well.
Is there anybody in the farm system that could come up to surprise us in the outfield?
Yeah, maybe a Pache coming back.
If I had to put my money on it, I think they would probably try to roll with Drew Waters over Christian Pache at this point. He was killing it in Double A, and then in the minors, and he's shown that his defensive floor is good enough that he can be a successful guy. Or maybe Michael Harris might come up, mid-season or something because he's been on fire. You're starting to see him perform like Ronald Acuna did in the minors. I mean, if you get a guy like Michael Harris and come up there making league minimum for the first few years, and you can take those funds and fill out other holes, the Braves are going to be in a really good spot.
Some of the other big names like Scherzer and some of the older guys, Chris Bryant, Trevor Story, do you see those guys looking for that one-year deal? I know they all want the big deal, but do you think these guys might take a one-year deal to try to win a ring if they haven't already?
I would say my number one pick of any of those older guys would probably be Justin Verlander. He fits the mold the most. We know that even though he was injured last year, he's only gotten better with age and his work ethic and his entire career. I do think that the Dodgers are going to pursue Max Scherzer really hard, so I just don't foresee the Braves getting him. And the way that Clayton Kershaw has just kind of gotten worse and worse with injuries. I mean, he's still Clayton Kershaw, but I think that Justin Verlander has the highest upside, and if you could get him on a one-year deal, I think Justin Verlander would be my number one pick.
Would he be in that 30 to 35 mil, or is it just astronomical for a one-year kind of rental deal?
Oh, for a 1 year, I would assume that he'd probably demand something like $27 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering,
no doubt.
Sorry, Sam, what do you think about, is Ron Washington going to get pulled away, or do you think we'll have him return next year?
I think that we got really fortunate because since he was on the World Series roster, when a bunch of other guys were being interviewed, he was busy winning a World Series. So, because the Padres were looking at him and then they didn't go with him, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone. And if he does end up becoming a manager somewhere, I won't even be mad. I'll just be happy for him.
Oh yeah,
I think that he's earned it, and I really wouldn't be surprised. I would be sad to see him go. I'm sure everyone will, but at the same time, I'll be really happy for him.
Right, and we saw Bob Melvin's spot open up there with the A's, and of course,
sir.
He considers it home over there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go over there. I just wanted your thoughts on that, and I agree with you. Just want him to be happy.
I think he'd be a great fit, especially considering the A's are probably looking to cut back payroll, so they're probably going to start a rebuild process. So they need a guy like Ron Washington over there to kind of mentor those guys and really keep their morale up.
And teach them the fundamentals. And some
Yes.
and some great swearing words, because that's what Ron's great at. One last question I wanted to ask you, Sam, pertaining to free agents and one of the top ones out there. I mean, we've got a long list. We could honestly probably spend an hour talking about all of these free agents, but let's stick with Nick Castellanos. Where do you think he'll be headed next?
Oh man, that is a tough one. He's a true wild card, but if I had to guess, I'm going to say the Rangers.
Ooh.
Because the Rangers are looking to spend a lot of money for whatever reason. I guess they're tired of losing, and he just fits that mold. You know, he's lacking in the defense area, so we already know that they're going to have a DH, so he can fill in at the DH spot, but he can also play the field if they need him to. He's not absolutely terrible, and we know that he's good with the bat. If the Rangers are looking to make a splash, I think that's the type of splash they can make. He's going to probably look for somewhere like a 5-year, $115 million deal, something like that. But the Rangers do have the money, and a lot of the other big spenders will probably be looking elsewhere. So I think the Rangers just seems right.
He almost slightly reminds me of Joey Gallo.
Yes, except Joey Gallo is like 16,000 times better in the field. But offensively, yes, very much so.
16,000. I love it. Hey, Sam, thank you so much for your service to this country, and then also what you do for us here and what you do for the Braves Dugout Podcast, Tomahawk Take, and Sports Talk ATL.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. It's always a fun coming on here, and happy Veterans Day to everyone out there that has served and is currently serving.
Absolutely. Hey, Sam, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your evening, and enjoy your interview. You got a big one coming up.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much.
No doubt about it. All right, y'all, that's Sam Peebles, host and creator of the Braves Dugout Podcast. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. When we get back, we'll be defending our stances.
My forecast overnight, spotty showers, partly to mostly cloudy, 55 to 62, light southwest winds becoming north about 10 miles per hour. Chance of a few showers Friday and Friday night. Partly sunny Friday, partly cloudy Friday night. The high Friday near 75 will be in the 50s Friday night. Sunny in the 60s over the weekend. This weather forecast has been brought to you by All About Garage Doors, your garage door repair specialist. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
ESPN Northwest Florida. More you.
Auburn football is back at Jordan-Hare for another Western Division battle against Mississippi State.
Bigsby jumps into the end zone. Touchdown, Auburn! Take Bigsby for the yard out.
Saturday with kickoff at 11 Central on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
At Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our goal is to prevent pests from entering your home. Our Inside Out Pest Prevention Program is built to treat the problem outside before it's ever a problem inside. It's like an invisible barrier around your home. Although quarterly treatments are generally administered outside, if there's any problem inside, just give us a call and a Brock technician is on the way. Our Pest Prevention Program is not just limited to the every 3-month service. Brock's here for you anytime there's a problem, inside or out. Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting your family since 1968.
Barbaritos has been committed to serving farm-fresh food since February 20th, 2000. For starters, Barbaritos food is made with love, straight from the heart. Every morning, we begin preparing our food from scratch, from chopping fresh tomatoes for sauces to mashing fresh avocados for guacamole. Barbaritos cares about food. From serving char-grilled grass-fed beef as well as hormone-free chicken breasts to the amazing tofu for our vegan friends. Farm Fresh is more than just a motto. It's Barbaritos' mission.
Barbaritos. We make it fresh. You make it yours.
Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway is your authorized Goodyear and Michelin dealer.
Here's a cool fact about coolant. To make cars lighter and more fuel efficient, many manufacturers have reduced the size and weight of the cooling system and components. Good news is it saves you gas. The bad news? The system runs hotter so the coolant breaks down sooner. At Offered Tire and Service Center, they don't just drain and replace your coolant, they flush your entire system to get rid of the gunk.
Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway.
Damsel in Defense presents Defend Your Stance. Got an opinion? Time to defend it. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Afternoon Underdogs. This is Defend Your Stance. We've got Adam Goff, Boston Tim, Old School, Caveman Rick, all in the building. I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. This is Defend Your Stance, brought to you by Emerald Coast Damsel, Independent Damsel Pro, for Damsel in Defense. This weekend, right here at Edgewater, not the shops of Edgewater, not Lake Town Wharf, but Edgewater for Holly Fair. Go check out Emerald Coast Damsel, Independent Damsel Pro for Damsel in Defense. Anything big going on, Caveman Rick, that we need to know about?
No, just come out, see Michelle and Jenny. Come look at our wares and buy lots of stuff. Spend your money.
All right. I love.
Did you see the smile on his face? When he said that's
what a plug.
Spend
a lot of money.
Holly Fairs, for those of you who don't know out there, it's a big deal around here.
Right.
And I didn't find out how big of a deal it was until we got involved with it. And this is like, a who's who of Panama City that shows up to. And so if you want to go out and be seen, show up to the Holly Fair.
All right. We've got a big football game, college football, not just NFL, but a college football game tonight in North Carolina and Pittsburgh. We're in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 6.5-point favorite, but Sam Howell or Kenny Pickett, these are two guys that we're looking at for the draft next year. Who throws for the most yards tonight? Start with you, Boston Tim. You're a big college guy.
I can't believe you started with Tim.
He's a big college guy.
Absolutely. I'd be a big guy in college, but I'm not necessarily a big college guy. But, I think it's a pretty easy one, right? Pickett's thrown for 3,150 yards this year, up against 2,400 for Howell. So you're talking 750 more yards. The kid just has more opportunity to pass the ball in a less, a pass-heavy offense as opposed to a more balanced offense with North Carolina.
All right. Old school.
Ditto. He stole my thunder. I just think the way that it's raining outside.
He said, Tim Root, where you at, man? We didn't know.
How about a little heads up?
You'll get the weather report in about 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
But I think Pickett tonight's going to light it up. I just think that there's this certain games where quarterbacks, they know the guy on the other side is highly rated, and he's going to go out and make a statement. And I think tonight he's going to throw for over 4.
It would be a repeat of last week, which is a strong possibility.
Yeah.
And both teams put up a lot of points last week, and I can see it happening again. Both teams last week were, I think, at right around 100 total points in the entire game. And I think that's a possibility, like I said, if it goes like last week. So we could look at just in passing, there's a possibility for 700 total passing yards between the two guys tonight, and I'm anxious to see it either way. I don't know necessarily that either one will have 400, but it's a possibility, especially with Pickett.
I just think whenever two guys that can sling it like these guys can, and they see the guy across the field and they want to make a statement, they want the headline that they threw for more yards, that they're motivated, and I think this is an opportunity for a Heisman moment, and Pickett knows it, and Sam Howell does, but I think Pickett is a little higher on the Heisman list, so I project it's going to be Kenny Pickett tonight that's going to throw for a bunch of yards.
85 points for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get to cameraman Rick here. He was shaking his head a little bit. Who do you got throwing for the most yards tonight out of Howell and Pickett?
I got Howell tonight. I just think Mac Brown's going to be the difference there, man, coaching them up. We talked about what they did last week, a big surprise, scoring lots of points. So I'm going to say, Mac Brown's going to be a difference, coaches them up, and you see a surprise. Just because you got more yards currently don't mean you're going to do it tonight.
Ooh. Adam
I
Goff.
don't think the Lord liked that answer. Strike lights going out here. If you're going just passing yards, I think you have to go Pickett.
Yeah.
But if you go total yards,
but that's not
look,
what
I know that's not the question.
Yeah.
But if you look at what Sam Howell's been able to do this year, running the ball as well as throwing, I think he's a more dangerous weapon in terms of a Heisman candidacy. The problem is he has so many bad losses on his resume.
Yep.
But if you go
he's not getting
yards,
a lot of press because they haven't had a tremendous season.
Right.
And we're in Pittsburgh has had some big games, some surprising games, and
moved up into the top 25 as opposed to falling out of it.
Right. So I agree with you in the fact that Sam Howell is, he can run it, he can throw it. He's more of a dual threat type guy, but Pickett's just got that sling it thing going. And some guys just know that they can throw it, and he's not afraid to throw it. So I'm looking for him tonight to have a big game.
Back to
Heisman
you.
moment.
No, I mean, I agree. Like I said, I think Pickett's going to have the most yards between the two of them tonight. But I'm looking forward to it because, I mean, you're going to see another, Wake Forest, North Carolina kind of shootout.
It was a fun game.
It was amazing. It was awesome. Of course, that's what Wake Forest has been doing the last 3 years. But with this Pittsburgh offense, has been revitalized this year with Pickett. So it should be an entertaining one.
So if we said total yards, you would go Sam Howell?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we don't have enough time to get everybody's answer here. We only got 30 seconds. For me, I'm going to go with Howell tonight, even just passing yards. I'm going to go with Howell tonight. Both of these teams are giving up close to 240 yards a game in the passing department, so defenses are eerily similar. We'll see how it all plays out tonight. That should be a great game. Don't forget about the Ravens and the Dolphins. You can listen to that game starting at 7 right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and Panama City Toyota are feeding families for the holidays. Hi, Randy Williams, General Manager of ESPN Northwest Florida. We genuinely appreciate the support of our community in the Panhandle, and we want to give back. ESPN Northwest Florida has teamed up with Panama City Toyota to provide Thanksgiving dinner for 20 local families in need. We'll pick 20 families and provide them a sumptuous Thanksgiving dinner with all the trimmings, including a smoked ham and turkey from Rib Crib in Callaway. Nominate a family in need by emailing espnpanamacity@gmail.com or text at 850-215-6290. Plus, all families nominated are invited to join us for a free delicious Thanksgiving at Coram Steak and Egg in Callaway. Feeding families for the holidays from Panama City Toyota and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sports talk lives here. Powered by Pepsi. WGS Excellent Haven, Panama City. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Don't go through the fall months with joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids. QC Kinetics use natural biological therapies that restore, repair, damaged tissues in your knees, shoulders, hip, and back. Patients are raving about the results. You don't have to live with chronic pain. And don't think surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. Hey, you've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what it's all about. Fall is a time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative therapies are available here. And in the office, consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics 850-270-3939. Non-surgical joint pain relief. 850-270-3939.
Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. Text or call into the Slim Chicken Studio. 850-215-6290.
Always be sure to listen for the dial tone.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back in to the Slim Chicken Studio. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We've got Adam Goff, Boston Sam, Old School, cameraman, a.k.a. Caveman Rick, in the building with us. One more Defend Your Stance question before we get into some headlines for Hour 2. Can Purdue do it again against Ohio State? We'll talk about the spread here at 5:15. It's a 21-point spread, but do you think that Purdue can, both of their upsets to this point against the number 2 team in Iowa, the number 3 team in Michigan State, have come when they were at the house? Can the Spoilermakers do it again, though, this time on the road in Columbus? Adam, what do you think?
Where's Jeff Brom from?
Louisville.
There you go.
Hey, he was on ESPN today. We were at TJF Friday. Shout out to Leanne for taking care of the lunch today.
Yes.
And he was up there on ESPN.
Yeah.
So I texted that man after the Iowa game. I was like, hey, come on, give us some airtime. Nope.
He was on for quite a while too.
Yeah, he was. It was a great interview.
He's personal friends with Randy, so of course Randy stands up in the middle of the restaurant taking pictures.
Looking
of
like
on
he's
television,
dancing.
And I'm like, what? Dude, you know the guy. Why are you taking? And he said, "Oh, I'm gonna send him a picture and say, so you're good enough to go on national television, but you're too busy to come on our station here."
I say he's a little busy trying to plan another upset.
Yeah,
just
we talked about the coaches. It's practice time when we're on the air, so it's really hard for Dave to line those guys up during this time of the year.
Do you think they can do it again?
I do. They just present matchup problems for everybody that they've faced, and Iowa. Everybody, people are big detractors of Iowa just because of their inability to move the ball on offense. But Jeff Brom has a knack for getting his guys motivated at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's done it 3 years in a row now. Then they have letdowns, obviously, but because they haven't been undefeated yet. But if there's, Ohio State's vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown it. Nebraska always plays everybody tough this year, but at the same time, Ohio State is vulnerable, and leave it to Jeff Brom to find it.
Boston Tim?
No, I absolutely agree. There's only been 3 teams in the FBS this year that have knocked off 2 teams in the top 10, and only 1 team that's knocked off 2 in the top 5, and that's Jeff Brom's Purdue. And the Boilermakers have really stepped up through his game plans and produced, like Adam was saying, and I think that they have a strong possibility of doing it again against the Buckeyes. I think if anybody of these last couple of weeks coming up is going to do it against the Buckeyes, Purdue is the team that is going to do it, and I really look forward to the matchup coming up.
I think it's going to be a great game, but honestly, I think Cinderella's midnight is going to strike. It's amazing what Purdue has done, but this is a different animal that they're going to be taking on in Ohio State, and they are deep and they are talented, and I just think that midnight has struck for Cinderella in this case.
Got a text here before we get to Cavemans from Corey, who just stopped by not too long ago to pick up a prize. Said he loved the show. We appreciate you, Corey. He says the Spoilermakers aren't gonna do it. OH, old school knows what's up. Caveman Rick, what do you think here?
I think, can they do it? Sure, they can do it. They've proven that they probably can. They've done it a couple times this year. Will they do it? I don't think they will. I think they'll probably cover the spread. I did watch that interview today too, and I believe they would say, or they were saying, if they were to do this and accomplish this feat, they'd be one of, I believe, 8 teams to beat 3 top 6 teams in the same year. So if they did, that would be kind of crazy too, and it'd be a good trivia question to have them be a part of. But I don't think it's going to happen.
No doubt. Speaking of the trivia question for today, if you haven't won in the last 30 days, give us a call, 850-215-6290 on the Rib Crib hotline. What branch of military did Ted Williams serve in? What branch of the military did Ted Williams serve in? 850-215-6290. As for my answer, I would love to see it happen, just like everybody at this table would. But I don't think that they'll get it done this week. I think Ohio State's just too strong of a team, and with Ohio State struggling last week, they know that they've got to fix that. If Purdue was at the house, maybe my mind would be in a different place, but we're in Columbus here. Ohio State's already dropped 1 game at their house this year. I highly doubt that they'll do it again, and they might even cover all 21 of those points. But we'll see about it because, like Adam said, the matchups that he can create, or the matchup indifferences that he has available to him, and the motivation that he brings to his team, anything could happen any given Saturday in this particular case. Who's the most exciting player? Let's go NBA for this one. Most exciting player in the NBA, Adam? For you.
For me?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah, personally.
I enjoy watching Donovan Mitchell, obviously. A little biased there. But, in terms of just raw athletic ability, you've got Dame out there, who's incredibly fun to watch. But for me, Steph Curry, The way he's able to manipulate that basketball from 40 feet and in is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't just mean shooting. His ability to dribble and find the open man, and his head is always up and is always on a swivel, and you just never know what that guy is going to do. But you know what he's capable of.
Boston Tim, you got a most exciting player in the NBA?
Absolutely. I've been saying it for a while now, and if he could just stay healthy, his abilities aren't just in dunking, and he's won the dunk contest multiple times because he's just an unbelievably athletic kid. And Zach LaVine also has a great shot to him, and he's also a good defender. Unfortunately, he just can't stay healthy. But when he's on the court, I absolutely think he's the most exciting player we have in the NBA right now.
Old school.
I have two answers.
Of course you do.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, we're talking now.
And
we're talking now, right?
Current would be.
We are talking now.
Current would be preferable.
Well, you can't go wrong with Luka.
Overrated.
Just for Dave. Dave will learn that he's not overrated, but I think the Ant-Man is just so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
That you never know what he's going to do. He can explode from anywhere at any time to dunk. I just think that he is, and he's still so raw. He has so much to be able to develop. I think he's one of the most exciting players to watch. Maybe not the best overall player, but just in excitement of how he can explode to the rim. It's scary. It's really fun to watch.
Caveman Rick.
I probably got a boring answer, but for me, I would say Steph Curry. Dude just shoots it from anywhere, makes it from anywhere. Just kind of cool to see.
I concur, Doctor.
I almost want to go with Giannis just isn't that exciting to me.
He's too nice
when I'm watching him play ball, but he's still one of those. He's just a specimen, you know what I mean? Like the big body, and he's learned how to use that later on in his career. Another guy, I don't know what it is, man. It's the big guys down low for me right now. But Joel Embiid, when he's healthy, he's a very exciting player to watch just because you don't see that style of basketball played as much. So I'll go with Joel Embiid. Why not? Go with a guy from Philly for the cameraman Rick.
More exciting to follow maybe on Twitter.
That's a golden answer, no doubt about it.
I got a text in about the trivia question by John Wells, local of ours, listens to the show every day. Shout out to John. John, unfortunately, you were incorrect. He said it's a trick question. It is the Army Air Corps because there wasn't an Air Force before, but that is not the right answer. Good attempt, and you are right about that, but that's not the right answer.
Okay, we need you to call in and give us your answer. 850-215-6290. Your chance to win $25 digital gift card to one of 5 restaurants. Let's get into some headlines here. Mike White's going to be remaining the New York Jets starter against the Buffalo Bills. Tough matchup coming up, but they got a little bit out of their guy Josh Johnson, but I think they've reverted him back to the practice squad, so it's Mike White's job. This is one, I don't know if we stepped on this yesterday, but USC and Cal, their game postponed due to COVID-19 cases among the Golden Bears squad there. It's going to be rescheduled to December 4th, the day after the conference title game for the Pac-12. Here's my problem with the whole thing is every single conference came out this year and said that they're not going to postpone games due to COVID. And especially if they can prove that it's a certain team's fault, then that's it. You get the loss. It's a forfeiture of a game. And why isn't that happening here? Especially these teams aren't even competing for the Pac-12 championship at this point. If anything, maybe it's a chance to get the Cal Golden Bears into a bowl game or something. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm not pleased with this. After you come out and you say we're not postponing games for this, and then what do you do at the end of the season? Do you just hope that people forgot about this or something? I mean, what's happening out west? Let's not get into that though.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole
Coach James Hale story.
Yeah. We'll leave that for the morning. Don't forget to tune in to the Coach James Hale Show Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 in the morning. But, Cal lost to Arizona, gave Arizona their first win of the season last week, and they only had 42 scholarship players in uniform, Cal did, and took a loss to the Arizona Wildcats. not happy with this whole decision. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts outside of the ones that I just gave.
I think we're all kind of in the same boat as Boston Tim. It's just, yeah, what goes on out there is it goes on, and we just kind of move on.
The Democratic Republic of California. Soon enough, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have to say.
The
about
West
that.
Coast should be seen and not heard.
Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to stop us right there.
Coach James Hill's about to call in right now. It's about to
Yeah,
get live,
right.
Actually,
Like, you are so right.
Yeah, if it were still the 4 o'clock hour, he's probably sleeping now. It's 5:15.
He's doing show prep for tomorrow morning. All right, so Cam signing with the Carolina Panthers. Revert back to defend your stance real quick here. When Sam Darnold does get healthy, does Matt Rule got a decision to make out of Sam or Cam? What do you think, old school?
It depends on what Cam looks like when he gets there. If Cam gets some playing time and he looks like he can move the team and make good decisions.
Basically, don't throw in three interceptions a game, and I think the job's yours, Cam.
I agree. I think that as long as he plays smart and plays controlled football, it's his job. Sam Darnold is who Sam Darnold is, and I tried to tell everybody. But if you bring Sam back, you're going to get Sam all over again. So.
I don't know about that. I don't know if Cam has enough time in 4 weeks just to learn a new playbook. We know how Cam is and how he struggled with the Patriots at first, and he had months to learn a playbook with the greatest coaches in all of football. For him to come in right now with 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, I just don't see it. I do see him coming in and being potentially a serviceable quarterback, maybe, but I just don't see him taking over the job by any means. I just can't see a $20 million backup quarterback in Sam Darnold. I just don't see that happening.
Adam, got anything?
Well, I mean, Darnold's only under contract again, through next year. So, I mean, again, it's NFL, so it's not MLB. It's not guaranteed, of anything. But, I don't think either of them are going to be there next year. I just don't. And if Cam comes in, maybe they win a couple games. Maybe they lose a couple games, but I'm with Boston Tim. I think if you've got $20 million sitting over there on the sidelines, you're going to have a lot to answer for. And
do you know how rich that owner is?
Yeah.
He's the richest owner in all of football. He doesn't care about $20 million sitting on the bench. He wants to not be embarrassed as an owner of a football team.
He should have thought about that before he chose electric blue for the color.
But when you bring in a guy and you say, this is going to be my quarterback and we're going to bring him along, and he's the same quarterback that he was for the Jets. Everybody was like, well, it was the Jets. It was the coaching staff. It's not. It's Sam Darnold. He was the same way at USC. Amazing play.
I want to say you're wrong so bad right now, but I've been proven wrong to this point with Sam Darnold because I tried and tried and tried to tell you that, and guess what? It fired right back in my face, and I've had to hear I told you so just about every morning I walk into the Slim Chicken studio.
Tell you.
Caveman Rick, where you at?
I don't think he's going to be there very long. I'm on Tim's side of the fence. If he couldn't get the playbook with the amount of time he was in New England, he's not going to be able to pick it up fast enough. Now, if this was the same coaching staff with Ron Rivera that he had before, then I would think that he would have a chance.
That's a very good point.
And he's only got the job there because he's a familiar face. I think people there are comfortable with him. They're used to seeing him. So maybe the fan base isn't hitting the panic button quite yet just because of the signing. Without him being there, then I think it is like, red alert time.
All right, one more. Nah. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk about some college football games.
There's going to be a sound bite there.
No, not a sound. No, not a sound bite. But when we get back, though, I do have a question that Wright State Chris just texted in and can't wait to hear you guys' answers on that. It pertains to dirty plays. But this Thanksgiving, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, Panama City Toyota, teaming up to feed families for the holidays. If you know a family who had a rough year and might miss out on a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe it's your family, nominate them to win a free Thanksgiving dinner from Rib Crib in Callaway. That's going to include a smoked ham and a turkey. Submit your nominations to ESPN Panama City at Gmail or text the store to 215-6290. And all families who are nominated are invited to join us for a free, delicious Thanksgiving meal at Corm's Steak and Eggs. Gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be right back.
My forecast overnight, spotty showers, partly to mostly cloudy, 55 to 62, light southwest winds becoming north about 10 miles per hour. Chance of a few showers Friday and Friday night. Partly sunny Friday, partly cloudy Friday night. The high Friday near 75, it'll be in the 50s Friday night. Sunny in the 60s over the weekend. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, best little lumber yard in Panama City and Youngstown. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
I'm only really surprised about Aaron Rodgers that he went public with his thoughts on the vaccine. Aaron Rodgers, knowing that he's legendarily thin-skinned, Aaron thought, yeah, I'm totally comfortable with going into a very polarizing topic and taking all the blowback. Because, you know, I'm legendarily thick-skinned. Bruh, you're the one guy in the league that should get into this stuff.
This is The Herd.
And the story out today.
Weekdays 9 to 11 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Hear that? That's the plumpest, juiciest hot dogs you've ever seen getting their grill on. But we both know what'll make it sound even better. Oh yeah, it's a Pepsi to go with your hot dog. Because when you're chomping on America's favorite meal, relish, mustard, and onions perfectly blending into a crescendo of flavor, there's only one thing that makes everything about that moment better. A cold, refreshing Pepsi. See what I mean? It's like music to my ears. Hot dogs. Better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Tyndall Air Force Base to the Hathaway Bridge. We're live and local. It's the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Slim Chicken Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back in. We're in the Slim Chicken Studio, and you're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We've got Old School, Boston Tim, Adam Goff, Caveman Rick in the building with us. And Rice State Chris texted in and wanted to know what we thought was the dirtier play. And that would be out of, here's your options here, out of Markieff Morris and Nikola Jokic and that whole deal, the shove there. The shove from Jokic to Markieff Morris, or was it Mac Jones, whatever you want to call it, with the ankle lock, the ankle twist on Brian Burns' defensive end for the Carolina Panthers?
That was a tackle.
That was a tackle?
That was a legitimate tackle.
That was... He's tackling.
How could you see it any other way?
He didn't even have the ball.
How does he know? He's a quarterback. He's on the ground. He just got attacked. He just got attacked. He's barely in his own consciousness. He's trying to do the right thing.
He's a rookie. We're gonna play the rookie card.
Yeah, it's not like he sued somebody. I mean,
it's not like he sued somebody.
He's trying to tackle, so he's tackling fuel, man. Come on, man.
So the answer is Nikola Jokic?
No, not even that.
He was standing up.
Markieff is the worst of the three.
You're exactly right.
Of course I'm right. I'm from Boston.
You are exactly right. the quarterback for your guys, the Alabama dude, whatever his name,
Mac Jones. Put some respect on his name.
He hasn't
the young
earned it yet.
the young guy from Alabama. It was a football play.
Thank you.
It was a football play. Period. You know what? Jokic, whatever his name is.
What was that name?
The Joker.
You're mixing up the
Joker's great.
You're mixing up the basketball and the tennis guy.
Are we on a time delay here? I hope.
No.
No, not even close.
The basketball
What does old
player.
school want for Christmas? Never mind.
What the Joker did was self-defense. Period.
Okay. Boston Tim, you've already answered. Adam Goff, which one's dirtier to you?
I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen this from one of the Morris twins, right? The Mac Jones play, it's football. I think we're making way too big of a deal over a lot of hits, whether there's a penalty called or not. But in the NBA game, they've done so much to try to limit the amount of contact that the defenders can make when somebody's dribbling down the court, or even dribbling out front. So for Morris to just go in and hip check Jokic, now I'm not saying what Jokic did was right, but I understand it, I get it. But what Morris did is it was egregious, and I'm not shocked to see somebody like Joker retaliate.
Okay, man, Rick.
I put all three of them basically at the same level almost. Morris is a repeat offender, so, typical. Jokic, yeah, it's retaliation, and yeah, you got to stand up for yourself. But when you look at, how he did that, if you can see the guy's name and numbers, doesn't really matter what sport you're in, you really can't hit a guy in the back blindsided like that. That ain't really right. Let the refs make the call, but stand up for yourself. If it was hockey, I'd be fine with it. Be typical Philadelphia Flyers play as far as I'm concerned.
Would that be considered high sticking what Jokic did?
No, if it was by the boards, it'd be more like boarding or something. Yeah, which would be like a 5-minute penalty.
There you go.
And then the Mac Jones play, there was some intent there. You're going after the ankle. Back in the day, what would they call that, like in a pile, putting some hot sauce on it? So he put some hot sauce on it. So he was he had some intent there. So I'd say all three are about the same level. Which one's the worst of the three? Honestly, I think the Mac Jones one. Really,
I'm right there with you.
He's going right there for somebody's ankle where somebody might not be able to play. I mean, the Jokic thing, you did throw a forearm into somebody's lower back, and that can mess some stuff up. I mean, he's a big dude. He could actually dislocate a vertebrae or something like that.
None of you guys have ever been a quarterback before, have you?
No.
There's no. You don't practice tackling. You don't. It's not his fault. He's been a quarterback since he was 11 years old.
I've done quarterback in Madden, but I mean, look at my side.
In Madden.
You know what I'm saying?
And he puts the boomstick when he's making tackles.
Hey, I'm not afraid to hit the circle button.
That's right.
I mean, you were talking about a quarterback. We're talking about a rookie quarterback doing a dirty play.
It doesn't matter what position you are. No, dirty's dirty.
No, he wasn't trying to hurt the guy.
Yeah, but my thing is, Brian Burns was headed towards the football. Mac Jones could have looked up very easily and probably did from some of the angles that I've seen.
He didn't want him to get the ball. He just
okay.
He did the right thing.
Did he do the right thing? Can you do the right thing and it still be dirty? Yeah, absolutely. What do we say all the time about sports?
When is the right thing dirty?
The NFL taunting.
That's not dirty.
No, it's dirty for all the teams involved. Absolutely, it is.
It's unsportsman. It's not dirty.
No, I'm talking about what the refs are doing.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah. You're misconstruing here.
Standing up for a teammate, if somebody gets cheap shotted and then you go after that guy and he's your teammate, that might be kind of dirty. If you go and say sucker punch somebody, like I said, if it was a hockey game or something like that, that might be construed as dirty, but you got to do that. You got to stand up for your guys. I mean, if I'm the coach of a team or a GM, I'm not going to find my player. I'm not going to be upset with them.
We're not talking about linebackers.
That's the kickers. The kickers.
No, I think the kickers are tougher than the
As a person who played both, we're both pretty
quarterbacks.
I was a kicker and I was a quarterback.
Quarterbacks take
Dude, I can only imagine being in high school and seeing this dude try out to. It's like, what are we kicking? A 70-yarder? Come on, big legs.
I had a 77-yard punt one time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Looking like the dude from what college is it? They've been running stories on, I believe it's San Diego State's punter.
Yeah, 70 or 80-yard
Yeah,
punt.
like an 81-yard punt or something.
I've done that too, man. I got that power meter. I hit the A button and got that power meter all the way up. And
you got to do that over the power.
Yeah, you got to get that extra little bit, right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know what y'all are talking about. Whatever that is. With that joystick?
With that joystick.
Never played.
Oh, man, that's good. So what about Brian Burns coming out and saying happy hunting on Mac Jones? He hopes all the defensive ends and defensive tackles take their
that's a
their
dirty thing to say.
Oh, get out of here right now!
On his part.
Are you kidding?
That's
I don't even think he need to say that. It was already implied. There's a lot of defensive people now that are going to be going after Mac Jones. I can promise you.
Well, they should have just took the lesson from the game against Dallas, where Mac's been lit up quite a few times already this year, but he's been taking some licks for sure. So I think that right there is enough motivation for a defensive player to be like, look, man, when this guy gets hit.
Every defensive player,
that's their whole goal, right?
Yeah.
Knock the head off.
Even after they're retired, they still hate quarterbacks.
All the guys in college that didn't get to hit Mac Jones, they're going to want to hit him now. You know?
That's a good point.
I don't think he ever got hit.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't get that dirty. So there's a lot of guys that want to maybe christen him now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll break down some college football games from this weekend. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Coach James Hale Show.
Them Georgia Bulldogs, though, I don't know. Tennessee might give them a scare, but I don't see anybody else getting close to that one.
They're tough.
They are really good. Kirby Smart, you play for Nick, coach for Nick. You've been built by Bama, so take that.
Hey, you like that?
You don't like that? Gotta go.
Weekday morning, 7 to 9 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5, and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food, on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. When I say severe, what photo does your mind camera snap? Winters in Siberia? Summers in the Sahara? How about driving to the corner market? When I come back, I'll help you picture that.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
In the automotive photo album of severe service conditions, it's easy to picture the obvious queens, sandstorms and blizzards. But their quieter sister, short trip driving, is just as cruel. Yes, driving like proverbial little old ladies on Sunday is not normal service driving because engines aren't on long enough to reach temperatures hot enough to vaporize water or fuel contaminants. Unburned, these impurities form acids that corrode and sludge that clogs. Treat your short driving, hard-working vehicle like a lady. Perform maintenance according to scheduled time intervals. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. Inside the Slim Chicken studio.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make it so. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back in. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are the Afternoon Underdogs, and we're in the Slim Chicken studio. We've got Adam Goff, Boston Tim, Old School, Caveman Rick. I'm David Hayes, and we're going to get in some dogs and locks. So, Caveman Rick, Adam Goff, if you guys got any underdogs that you think will take care of the spread this weekend, or if you've got any teams that'll lock it in, college football or NFL, be my guest. Jump in whenever. Old School, what is your lock for college football?
My lock of the week is LSU getting 3 from the Hogs of Arkansas at home at night in Baton Rouge. I mean, come on.
Okay.
It don't get much better than that, does it,
Max
Old School?
likes that too. He's going to get him. So we're in college right now?
Yeah.
Locks right now? I've got a couple different locks right now. Of course, I like a Michigan State to lock in. I like Utah, over Arizona, a 1-8 Arizona. These are my two big spreads right here. The Michigan State's a smaller spread. Utah at 24 over Arizona, I think, is an easy one. My tougher one, but the one that I'm sticking with, which I've stuck with for 9 consecutive weeks now, is UTSA. It's 33 points that they're giving up, but it's to Southern Miss, so I feel good about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're also the best team in all of Texas, so I've got my faith in them.
Well, James Hale is upset with you.
No comment, Coach.
No, Southern Miss. He loves Southern Miss.
Oh, yeah.
He loves
That's
Southern
his
Miss.
alum. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
That's why he would be upset about that.
And so, yeah, those are my 3 locks for college.
Adam, you got any locks over there?
Yeah, give me as far as are we looking only big games here? I mean, I know you.
No,
you
whatever.
say,
you want.
but,
Yeah, he just used UTSA.
I hate saying this, but give me Kentucky over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt just absolutely has nothing, and you're going to have a very, very upset Stoops in Lexington there. And then also give me Texas Tech over Iowa State.
Texas Tech is the number 3 team against the spread in all of college football. So it's very solid.
Like Iowa State one bit.
That's a good call right there, too, because when you're running down them, my eyes kind of jump towards Iowa State there. I really like that call. Caveman Rick, anything in college football?
Yeah, they've only not covered 2 times this year, so Texas Tech's
well, and they've got the new coach in there, too, and since he's been there, they've been responding, so we'll see.
I like that one. In honor of Veterans Day, I took Air Force over Colorado State. They only got to cover 2.5 points there, even though they're on the road. I like them to cover that. And then also, I think the Michigan against Penn State game, I like Michigan to cover 2 points, even though they're on the road. So
down to 1.5 now. Actually, as of just now.
But they got to score 2, is what or 2 more.
I would like it for them to go in there and do something. But anytime Harbaugh plays against a good team, he just cannot get a victory. I think he's saved by the fact that there isn't a number next to their name. If there was a number put up there, if there was a 24, a 25, a 23, he would lose guaranteed.
And Penn State has the record, if you're looking at it, to be one of those ranked teams. But I agree with you that ups the implications of the games, and we've seen it time and time again from Harbaugh. But I think they get it done this week. Let's get over to some of the dogs. Boston Tim, lead us off with the dogs in college football.
For me, we're starting off with that team right there. We can stick with that game. I'm like Penn State, and I like them not only to cover the 1.5, but to win this game outright.
I like that. You got another one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the week where we lose one of our undefeated teams, and I think it's going to happen in Texas. I think Baylor is going to knock off Oklahoma today, so I don't need the 5.5 points. I like the straight-up victory.
I like it. We just got a text in from Cedric. He says, I got a weird one, but Tennessee, I believe they will give Georgia all they can handle and might pull a 3-point upset. And he's also got Mississippi State over Auburn.
Wow.
That's a good one. I mean, if Tennessee pulls the upset, that's going to be one of the biggest ones of the college football season.
Both of those are definitely brave remarks. I would say underdogs for sure and long shots, but very possible.
Very possible. No doubt about it. Old School, you got a dog?
Yeah, I got one. There's a school out of New Mexico called the New Mexico State Aggies, and they're coming to some small school up in the state north of us in a small town called Tuscaloosa. They're taking on Alabama, and they're getting 51. Now, that is a scheduling nightmare.
Shut up.
It's just pathetic.
Shut up. Y'all are playing Charleston Southern next week.
That's next week. We're talking about this
week, huh? Big old difference.
This is a confidence game. It's we've got to get the guys ready.
They do need some damn confidence, man.
Right.
Come on.
51 points.
And they're not going to cover the spread.
That's what he's saying.
I'm saying they're not going to cover it because I don't know. It's just what's wrong with the world.
So next week, we're going to revisit this Georgia-Charleston Southern game coming up, and I want you to say that this is what's wrong with the world.
You can't predict the future. We're talking about David. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Don't worry. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, don't worry about tomorrow.
Okay.
So
you're worried about Saturday.
No, I'm just saying, I looked at this today, and it was embarrassing to me. I mean, if I was an Alabama fan.
It was embarrassing that we're supposed to beat a team by 51 points.
It's embarrassing that you would even schedule this game. It's unbelievable.
That is
schedule
ridiculous.
Was made before Saban even started.
It's embarrassing. It's pathetic.
Adam, do you got any dogs for the week?
Yes. Give me Virginia outright over
I
Notre
looked
Dame.
at that one. I like
Virginia's ability to move the ball down the field. I still do not trust Notre Dame. It's at Virginia, and I think the Hoos are going to pull off an upset there.
My question with that one, if they got their quarterback in Armstrong, if he's back for this game, then I really do like that pick. But I also don't like that Cavalier defense. They gave up 66 points to BYU, I believe it was. And that was a back-and-forth game for a long time, and then BYU just kind of ran away with it at the end. But I like that one. Do you have another one?
No, I just have one thing to say. I think it's a really, really sad state of affairs when Miami, Florida State isn't even brought up in college football talks because of how bad both of those programs have been.
If I can, say one thing, they are on the list for us to talk about. Will they get talked about? I don't know. We've only got 20 minutes left, so I can't make any promises. But they were supposed to at one point in time be talked about. It's a big game for the area, but you're right. It is a sad state of affairs. I don't think that you could put that in any better terms when these two teams are not even being talked about in one of the big rivalry games. And what are they both got 4 losses here? But with Miami, on the flip side of that, 3 wins in a row.
Miami has looked a lot better the last 3 weeks.
Since that new quarterback took over.
Yeah, the new quarterback is making a difference.
Absolutely.
That's a big boy, and he could sling the ball. It's unfortunate that King got hurt, but having him come in has really been a difference maker. And he's throwing for 300 yards in 3 consecutive games, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yeah, 5-4. Oh wait, Florida
3
State
and 6.
is 3 and 6. Man, we had such high hopes. I'm not laughing.
Don't laugh at people.
That's
down.
a man.
I hate to be that guy, but the entire state of college football is in a negative fare. I mean, it's
South Carolina
it's
who?
not great.
South Carolina who?
What do you got for locks in the NFL? Or did we get any?
So I'll give my dog. My dog. I'm stuck in between North Carolina State with 2 over Wake Forest, but Wake Forest losing last week. That one's kind of tough for me. But the only reason Iowa's ranked, in my opinion, right now is because their athletic director is in the CFP this year. He might be the head of it this year. I like Minnesota +5 over Iowa. I like Minnesota to win this game. So that's my dog for the week.
I think my dog is that Iowa might actually score an offensive touchdown this week.
That's something that you could bet it.
Reaching right there.
I'm reaching. I know I'm reaching. But
you're reaching right there.
That'd be good.
Offensively, that might be the worst offensive team I've seen.
It's the worst
long
offensive
time.
team to make it to number 2 in the history.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Let's take a short break here, and when we get back, we'll do our NFL Dogs and Locks. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs, Dogs and Locks, when we get back.
My forecast overnight, spotty showers, partly to mostly cloudy, 55 to 62, light southwest winds becoming north about 10 miles per hour. Chance of a few showers Friday and Friday night. Partly sunny Friday, partly cloudy Friday night. The high Friday near 75. It'll be in the 50s Friday night. Sunny in the 60s over the weekend. This weather forecast has been brought to you by All About Garage Doors, your garage door repair specialist. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This week on Football Sunday on ESPN Radio. Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns head to Foxborough to face Mac Jones and the New England Patriots.
I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Baker Mayfield over the middle, touchdown.
Yeah, I like football season, all the things that go with it,
Then in Arizona, Christian McCaffrey and the Panthers face the 8-1 Cardinals.
McCaffrey to the 10. He's got another touchdown.
NFL Sundays begin Sunday mornings at 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hello, Rick Vossen with Stormore Portable Buildings, located at Panama City Mall on Highway 231 side. If you're shopping for a portable building, whether it be a portable building for storage, whether it be for office space, a garage, or a cabin out on the lake, Stormore's got pretty much anything you could use. From an 8 to 16 foot wide, from 12 feet long to 60 feet long. That's Stormore Portable Buildings, Panama City Mall, Highway 231.
Don't go through the fall months with joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids. QC Kinetics use natural biological therapies that restore, repair, damaged tissues in your knees, shoulders, hip, and back. Patients are raving about the results. You don't have to live with chronic pain. And don't think surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. Hey, you've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what it's all about. Fall is a time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative therapies are available here and in the office. Consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics 850-270-3939. Non-surgical joint pain relief. 850-270-3939.
Live from the Slim Chicken Studio. Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, welcome back into the Slim Chicken Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Got a great lineup of games for you this weekend. Starting it off tonight with the Ravens at the Dolphins. Pregame starts at 7, kickoff 7:20. Ravens at the Dolphins. Then Saturday, Mississippi State at Auburn. Pregame 10 a.m., 11 a.m. kickoff. Where should our listeners go watch that game, Boston Tim?
You just take yourself over the bridge to Pineapple Willie's, man. It's the spot. You cannot beat it. 9875 South Thomas Bridge.
I told you don't have to give the address.
I know.
Everybody knows where Pineapple Willie's.
The most geographically desirable spot in all of Florida. Come check us out, guys. We've got more than 20 70-inch TVs with all of the college and professional football games on every single weekend. If you let them know during an Auburn game that you heard about it from us here at ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida, we'll get you guys a free appetizer. And, of course, we've got $20 buckets of beers all weekend long during football. So come check us out.
Saturday evening, 5:30 p.m. pregame, Texas A&M and Ole Miss. And then Sunday, starting your day off right, especially for fantasy purposes. But we've got great games ahead of you. Browns at the Patriots, followed by the Panthers at the Cardinals. Sunday night football is going to be the Chiefs and the Raiders to finish off a big weekend right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Go ahead and get the app to make sure you're prepared for it for fantasy purposes. If you had them starting in your lineup, or if you even have them on your roster, Tua Tagovailoa will be sitting tonight against the Ravens, so he will not be playing, dealing with that finger injury. Let's get back into some dogs and locks, NFL style this time. Old school, start us off with your lock.
Ooh, my lock is Dallas giving 9 to the Atlanta Falcons at home.
Wrong.
They're playing
Atlanta covers.
I got Atlanta as one of my dogs, baby. Let's go.
Falcons.
Nah, man, you're just
spell
hating.
that for you.
Hater.
You know who it is? Cordero Patterson. That's who it is.
Losers. Losers. Losers.
And old school wins the spelling bee. Ladies and gentlemen, we're off for the night.
And you win a $25 gift card to Paparazzi.
Hey! Boston Tim, hit me with a lock for the NFL.
I have 3 locks.
Let's get them.
After last week, I'm very confident in all 3 of these teams. Actually, the last 2 weeks have been an unbelievable week, a couple of weeks for betting. Vegas is very, very happy with the underdogs. This week, I am with Old School. Not only do I like Dallas to cover 9 points, but I like them. If it was 16 points, I like Dallas
have
to
them
cover. I think
covered.
Dallas wins by 3 touchdowns.
Listen to the man. Listen to the man.
I like Arizona, who is still number 1 in all of the NFL for covering.
Even if McCoy's playing?
Absolutely. Even if McCoy plays and at 10.5 points, I like him.
That defense is good, though.
And then I like Green Bay as well. I like Green Bay to come in. They got 3 in it. They're giving 3.5 points. For me, my big bet would be to tease all 3 of these teams at 7 points, getting Dallas down to 2, Arizona down to 3.5, and Green Bay would now be getting 3.5 points. That's where I would put it up. Put my big money on those 3 teams.
What if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Jordan Love gets his first win.
It doesn't matter if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play and Jordan Love is playing quarterback?
Nope.
Wow.
All right. We'll see how that plays out. Any locks for the NFL?
Yeah, give me the Broncos over the Eagles.
Ooh.
It's 2.5. And Philly in Denver. Teddy's got his full complement back. I think Patrick should be back this week. Fant is definitely going to be back this week, I think. So, and then Judy, who, had his debut last week. Everybody's been knocking Teddy, throughout his career. Can't throw the deep ball, and he's showing him that he can this year.
Yeah.
And Philly, I just don't trust that offensive line. I don't trust Jalen Hurts' ability to throw the ball down the field. And, when Jordan Howard's your number 1 back, and Denver's defense looked pretty darn good last week in Dallas.
Yeah.
Against
really
that
good.
juggernaut. So give me Denver all day.
All right. I'm going to go, now that they've signed OBJ, I don't know if I still feel the same about the Rams covering the 4 over San Francisco. So I think that, Jacksonville looked, I guess if you can call it good, in their win against the Buffalo Bills. But I think that the Colts and the way that Jonathan Taylor's running right now, I like them to cover the 10.5 points in the long way. It might be a close game for a little bit, but I think that the way that Jonathan Taylor has been running the ball is going to be tough to stop. You got a lock over there, Caveman Rick?
The only lock that I think I was seeing was I think the Falcons are actually going to cover those points. And if I had something else maybe to add, I would go with possibly the Vikings covering over the Chargers. It's only a 3-point game.
That one's going to be a tough one.
You guys just send me text messages. I'll take all of your bets. Please send me this ridiculousness.
All right, let's get in some dogs here. Start in with Boston, Tim. What you got?
Well, I think we know absolutely out there the team that has dropped from the top the farthest this year is nearly at the bottom of the mountain. And I think their night game will show when the Raiders put a handle on them. And I think that the Chiefs are just continuing to fall. And even with a victory last week, it still shows how poorly they're playing on not only one but both sides of the ball.
Old School's got it too. That's what.
And on top of it, and a solid point that Old School's going to throw out to you is they're at home getting points.
Yeah.
They're at home getting points from a team that is in disarray.
The 32nd worst team in defense. I mean,
it's
wow.
27 and
it is unbelievable.
Yeah, but the Raiders are also a train wreck too with all the issues that they got going on.
They're managing those better than what they.
Managing them better than
and they've been surprising a lot of people, but it's going to catch up to them.
Yeah, they still have the same record as the Chiefs without a coach, missing players, people going to jail. I mean,
people being kicked off the team for brandishing firearms and making threats on social media.
The Raiders. This is what the Raiders.
Al
the
Davis.
Raiders are
Al Davis is in heaven right now,
That's
going.
Exactly right.
Oh, this is my dream team.
This is my dream team.
Al Davis is like, this is fantastic. This is what the Raiders are supposed to be.
This is the Cowboys' MO.
No,
Guys,
this is Al Davis to a T.
Exactly
this is a Dallas
He's
Cowboy
up there going, "You're my boy, Blue."
There's not much difference in the two of those teams between Dallas and Las Vegas now, except for blue and black. So I'm with you on that one.
I actually have Las Vegas and Kansas City as my dog of the week.
And I've got another one, and I'll quickly and quietly say the Browns.
Wow. Hold on. We're getting back to that. Adam, go ahead. Lead us off, but we got to jet
So
back
he's moving
over
on
there.
pretty quickly from that Browns-Patriots
And who
game.
are the Browns
He must not be that confident,
I
guess.
know, man. With no Nick Chubb, too.
No Nick Chubb. And let's see. They're playing.
Hold on. We're going to get back to that. Let's.
My dog of the week, give me Detroit outright in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming out a short week.
This might be the first time.
Do not trust Ben Roethlisberger in that offense. That defense is good, but Detroit hangs with.
See, I can see that happening, but you can't trust Detroit either because it's Detroit.
Right, but look at what they've done this year versus everyone except for my Bengals. They have been in almost every single game. And I'm telling you, they're going to win one, and it's probably going to be this one.
Plus 290, it's a good week to bet it right there.
I have them not to win the game outright. I'm not going as confident as what Adam is, but I do have them sticking within 8 points. And Detroit's not that bad on the road as an underdog against the spread, whereas Pittsburgh, actually, I believe that No, it's Dallas that's 4-1. Yeah, Pittsburgh at the home against the spread isn't doing too hot this year either. So I like that pick. But I'm going against the grain in my last dog of the week, and that's going to be the one that I mentioned when you brought up your lock of the week, having Dallas. I like the Falcons to stick within 9.5 points of the Cowboys. Not because of if Dallas won last week, it would be easier for me to make this pick. The thing that scares me is because you're going to have the Cowboys coming in, trying to make a statement, trying to regain the momentum that they may have lost in that last game. But there's something to be said about the Falcons in their last couple of stretches of games, especially beating the Saints. Yeah, without a quarterback, sure, but everybody was still high on the Saints when they lost Winston because that defense was so good. Whose defense is better out of the Falcons than the Saints, old school?
The Saints.
Okay, exactly. Who got the win, though? The Falcons did. All right, rest my case. Caveman, do you have a dog of the week over there? You got 1 minute. No. He said no.
Dave.
Old school, you got some time to...
Dave.
Dave.
I've been working with you now for a couple of years, and I thought that I had brought you along to understand that there are just certain things that they're just unquestioned, right? Mm-hmm. They're absolutes, right? And one of those is the Falcons can't cover anything.
Especially not in the second half.
I mean, you could give them a blanket. In the second half, they just go, they're incapacitated.
25-point leads are their kryptonite.
And what did they do last year?
But did they have a 25
What did they do last year to Dallas? They jump out on them way ahead. Dallas comes back.
But did they lose by more than 10 points?
Weeks in a row, they were up double digits last year and lost.
And they're doing it again this year. They were ahead 24 to something against the Saints, and the Saints had no quarterback. The Saints came back and took the lead. And if it wasn't for the fact that they have a Boston college quarterback in Matt Ryan, that's the only thing. That's the only hope that they have.
I don't want to hear that. All right, we're out of here for the day. Tomorrow you're on Boston Tim, Adam Goff, Caveman Rick, Coach James Hale will be live at you 7 in the morning. We out.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Auburn football is back at